Let's now deep dive into the world of large-scale design and architecture. And joining us this afternoon, we have with us none other than architect Reza Kabul from ARK, Reza Kabul Architects.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here amongst all you guys. It was a very interesting subject they were discussing, and I would like to add something. You know, when you're doing personal projects, when you're doing personal houses and everything, so you got to have the principal interacting. Nobody wants to deal with the team. So that's a challenge. But if you're doing large-scale projects, you don't, have to be there. Your team can handle it. Initially, you start designing, you do the conceptualizing, and then it is passed on to the team, and then they can take it over, and they can do the rest of the thing, but you overview the whole thing. So today we are just going to talk about large-scale projects, and that's what they want me to speak. So what we're looking at is the challenges of large-scale projects. Whenever you're doing a large-scale project, space is the material, it's the raw material for an architect, to create spaces. And when we get a particular site, we look at the site, we start studying the site, we look at the complexities of the site. And, when you're doing a large project, it's like, it's not a short time, it's a long time. So when you're doing that, you go through many phases. When you go through many phases, there's a real estate phase that comes in, and we know that there's a cycle that is there always. You have the ups and the downs. So you have to think of a large-scale project over a period of maybe 7 years, 10 years. This project that we are showing you, that's been almost, it started in 2016. It's 2024, and we still have many years to go. So these are some of the challenges that we face when we are doing a large-scale project. Large-scale projects often, they encounter delays because you got to go through environmental clearance, you got to go through a lot of approvals, and during projects itself also what happens is there is a lot of change that comes in. The bylaws change, like the project we were doing, it was in the old DCR, and then UDPCR came in, and we had to change the entire plans. So once, because of the market demands also, the projects have to be reassessed, re-looked at it. And whenever you design, you have to keep in mind flexibility. If you have flexibility, you can do the project. The other thing that is there in many cases, you construct something and it gets built, but it doesn't get used for the same thing. So there have been projects where we've done a commercial building and then it landed up being a hospital or a school or a hotel. So you have to have flexibility when you're designing. This is a project that we are doing, I was talking about, we started this in 2016. It's in Ulhasnagar, actually. It's away from Thane. It's on the NH 222, and it's by the river Ulhas. So the site was an excellent site. It's a 65-acre site. And the main thing is the river, and it's a beautiful river. So when we got into the project, there was a challenge again because it's on the river. We had to leave a buffer zone for the high tide. So we looked at the 50 years river high tide, and then we started designing. So we had to leave a buffer zone of about 40 meters. And then we started doing the master plan. So it's a mixed-used complex. And we have residential, we have commercial, retail. We have a school there. Of course, places of worship. And we have a clubhouse that is 150,000 square feet. So this was the master plan when we started. And this, of course, is the clubhouse that is completed. And these are the roundabouts, the thought process, and everything that was there. And that was the master plan. So the 40 meters of buffer zone that we had to leave, we, along with the clients, decided to do something over there which would be an amenity for the entire project and for the residences. So we created a musical fountain there. We created some putting golfs, and we started with the project because he thought that it was a way out place. So might as well we do the infrastructure first. We did the infrastructure, and then we launched the project. This is the view of the, it's a perspective image. On the top is the clubhouse, and that's the completed clubhouse, the proposed residential buildings, and the completed buildings. So again, some roundabouts, the garden landscape, what thought we had and how we completed it. So the client is very, he wanted to create something out here, and he said, I want to bring in the feel and look of the international airport in Mumbai. That was his awe, his dream. So what we did is we created the gate, which is an arch shape, and you pass through the gate. But we have an entire jogging track that runs around the complex, and that runs over the gate as well. So that's how we got that arch shape, and there's landscaping on top of it. You can see the proposed views and the actual views, the musical fountain, the gardens, and then the clubhouse. So we created all these things first before we got into the project, and then we started doing the building because they wanted to attract the people. Nobody would come into such a remote location. So then what happened is, over a period of time, the FSI increased, and we had to consume the FSI. And the other drawback that came in was that the apartments that we made were very large. There were 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms. In this location, people were not ready to move in, and they were not ready to pay the price. So then the client started struggling. So we started doing sector-wise. So because we had worked out it as a sector, so we started doing sector-wise, and in that sector, we started doing smaller apartments. And then this is something that's completed, and then we introduced this new sector, which is the Regency Havana. So that's, of course, the master plan has all these facilities. And the biggest challenge that we had, there was a burial ground right next to the site. And how to address that so that, people don't get, shooed away by the burial ground. But we managed to camouflage it and make it a nice, interesting green space. The clients took it up, and we beautified the whole graveyard as well. But what happened is, initially, the 6 number that is there, we had larger apartments. We had to cut it down. We had to make them into smaller apartments. So the layout became, on the left-hand side, became larger apartments, and number 6 that was there, we had to make it into smaller apartments, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms. So this is how the towers, now they're coming up. So my submission is that whenever you design something like a large scale, you have to be ready for some changes. This is another project that we worked on it, and it's called the Ocean City, and it's in Srivardhan, very close to Mumbai, by the sea. It's 850 acres, and it's a tourism township. Again, CRZ, but we managed it, and we are on the way. This is the entire master plan. But again, here, the problem that we had is it's got a very steep terrain, and addressing the terrain was a big challenge. We had a central part where we had a total dip in the land, so we have worked on it. We're getting a lake there. This is another project that we have completed now. It's a 40-acre township in Kalyan, and it's a mass housing, low-cost housing. This, again, had a lot of challenges. Initially, the FSI was less, and 7 stories was allowed. Second phase, we had to go in for towers so that we could consume the FSI, but then the cost was going up. So every project has its own challenge, and this had its own challenge as well. But these are the completed apartments, the landscaping, and the buildings. So this is another master planning township that we are doing. It's 1,150 acres, and it is in Thane. So here we have, again, the major challenge that we have, again, is the topography, and the other thing is that land parcel is not contiguous. So you have to have separate blocks, and then we had to address the entire project with commercial, retail, and school, residential, and plus consume the FSI, and keeping the environment as well, in place, and taking care of that. So this is just a model. This is a project we did in Goa. It's on a 12-acre property. And here we had a different challenge. So when you see the bottom of the drawing and the top, the layout, there was a 35 to 40 feet difference. And we had placed all the buildings towards the periphery. And we took the entire central portion as a landscape portion, which is a vehicle-free portion. And that's the completed images of the project. So when you're doing something like this, there's always, when you take up a project like this, you got to do the proper site analysis, you got to do the study of the environment, the infrastructure that is there, how you're going to get water supply, how you're going to get electricity, and the other necessary services, and how we can make it sustainable, how we can, use these, the project, how we can build it, and as well as make it sustainable. So this is the main thing, that is accessibility. It should be seamless. It should be easily approachable. They should have some kind of public transport so that people can access it easily. And we should always integrate sustainable methods. And you should have the flexibility to adapt whenever there's a change in the rules or bylaws or whatever. So the key takeaways: adaptability design, time management, team coordination, and sustainability and future-proof. So these are the main aspects that you have to keep in mind when you're designing a large project. So this is something I say: to create resilient large-scale architecture, we must embrace change and build with a foresight. Thank you.